Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to a brand spanking new week right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. That's me. How are you doing? How was your weekend? Boy, are we in for a treat tonight. How you doing? Big ups to each and everyone locked in right now. Those on tune in radio, the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. One Harmony Radio, top of the morning to you guys over there in the UK. Big ups. Musical genius. Big ups to you, sir. And the rest of the crew. Want to say big ups to also those tuned in on WGLRO, home of the Donnie Walker Morning Show, taking you from the sheets to the streets. Top of the good evening to you guys. And PEMGTV.com. And of course, right here at the home of the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, kevinstew.com. Glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you. You have my word. I would not try. Kicking it off with some brand spanking new music from Davil. A track called Burning Up. I want to say thanks to Paul C Media Group for sponsoring this segment of the show. When being in the moment is priceless, Paul C Media is the source that you need. That's a solution. Give them a call, 754-999-6020, or reach out to them at pulseemg.com. Go on there, check them out. You want to capture a moment, you want to stream something live on a secure network, you want to do something like you're watching right here on kevinstew.com. Policy Media Group can take care of creating the site for you. They can take care of hosting the site for you. They can take care of your multimedia broadcast. It's a real one-stop shop, trust me. When you get them a call, just tell them you heard about them right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, yeah? The sound of Deville. The track is called Burning Up. And you know, in South Florida, we're kind of burning up. But if there's one place that I think is a little bit warmer than South Florida, it has to be Texas. I don't know if there's anybody that would disagree with me. But without further ado, I want to take an opportunity to introduce to you a very special guest. And again, not to say that any of my other guests are not special, but this is a special person for tonight. Y'all are used to me, you know, so it's just me. But tonight, I have someone gracing my presence that just the mere mention of her name gives me goose pimples. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to get to know her. Most of the night shift listeners do not know this lady. Some of the newer night shift listeners, courtesy of WGLRO, are quite familiar with her. And I am lucky enough to get the opportunity to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, brand spanking new in her office, in her new role as City Commissioner for District 3 of Tyler, Texas, Councilwoman Dr. Shirley McKellar.
Yes, good evening, good evening. What an honor to be on with you tonight, DJ. So let me just tell you this. On yesterday, it was 62 degrees in Tyler, Texas. With all the rain that came through. Yes,
oh, that's right.
I stopped you, didn't I?
That's right.
Yes, it was amazing weather. Talk about climate change. Boy, did we ever have some climate change on yesterday. But we were right back at it today.
Oh,
so it
okay.
was 82 degrees today.
Only 82?
How are you doing? And thank you so much. Only 82. We were still doing very well, as a matter of fact. But it's going to get back up into the 90s probably on tomorrow.
Yeah.
So greetings to you from East Texas. And how are you? And thank you so much for having me on your show tonight.
I am well, Dr. McKellar. Thank you for taking the time out to join us tonight. And time out from your regular scheduled programming also.
Yes. It was getting pretty hot over there, so I'm glad I came over here.
Oh, so you decided to bring the heat over here. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I'm going
to leave that heat over there. We were actually talking about, let me tell you quickly what's being talked about tonight. As you know, I brought on a co-host to be on my Monday night show. And
yes.
so he's a Republican. And so he's pretty fired up tonight with the issue about the children supposedly drinking from the toilet.
Yes.
I know that one of the children said that they were told if they were thirsty to drink from the toilet. But he was explaining to us that it's the water fountain that sits on top of the toilet. But there were people who said, no. And so there was a back and forth discussion because actually the children said that the law enforcement person says, if you're thirsty, drink from the toilet. Is that what you heard?
Yeah. that was
what
reported.
Everybody heard.
Yeah, but the water fountain that sits on top of the toilet. What kind of plumbing do they have in that facility? Who designed that plumbing system? I'd like to know because on one hand,
he said they're in the prisons across the nation.
But
Go
not
ahead.
even in the
I'm sorry.
prison. Not even in the prison do they have. Well, I
Exactly.
guess they may have a faucet. No, but it's not. It doesn't sit above the toilet.
Right, 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 right. So
Not
this
that
is
I've
what
been there,
this is
but
what he was informing. No, exactly. And I had to do some training in there when working on my criminal justice background. As a matter of fact, was offered a job in one of the Texas prisons and kind of passed that up.
mm,
But anyways, that's the heated discussion. And then the other part was when 45 says, "Go back to where you came from," to those four minority congresswomen,
yes,
and
yes.
so that was a discussion as well. How you felt about that? If you were ever told to go back to where you came from, and what was your feeling when you were told that? Is the
Mm,
question that I asked. So there. So
mm.
see what I mean? It was heated over there.
Listen, it wouldn't
Yes,
be any different over here if
exactly.
no, it wouldn't, because first of all, I, being an immigrant myself,
Sure.
I take those things personal.
Well, of course. So where's home for you originally?
Jamaica.
Jamaica. Okay,
Yes,
Jamaica man. All
that's
right.
right.
Got you.
So
enjoy Jamaica every time I go there.
you know what? Me too.
I guess so. I guess so. Yes. Wow.
But tonight, though, as much as it is tempting to talk about, and you probably can't see this, but I can,
Okay.
about the orange one. Um, it's really about you tonight. It's really about
Thank you.
Shirley McKellar, Shirley J.
Thank
McKellar.
you.
That's
So look at you. Oh,
who
I love
it's
it.
about.
You know that middle initial. Because there's someone else right here in Tyler who has my name, so that's why I have to throw that J in there. But I tell her all the time, I'm the original Shirley McKellar.
Oh, you know her.
I had the name. Oh, I know her very well. Went to high school with her.
Look at
She was
that.
several years ahead of me, but I did know her. I do
That
know her.
is funny. I went to high school with two other Kevins with my name, Kevin Stewarts. I went to high
Is
school with
that,
two other
is
Kevin
that
Stewarts,
right?
and then I moved to a community
Wow.
that had another one, and I was friends with all three of them, and still are. Still
Oh,
am
my
friends with
goodness.
all three of them.
Very good. Very good.
So
That's awesome.
now, as we're in the midst of getting familiar, good evening, Julie. Welcome, welcome. Merry Monday to you. I want to encourage those who are tuned in right now by other mediums to jump on into the stew pot. And the stew pot sits on kevinstew.com. It's because we're fancy. What others call a chat
Yes,
room, we call it the stew pot. It's where we keep things
I love
bubbling.
it. I love it.
So I encourage you guys to come on over. You can ask Dr. McKellar or comment on the show in the stew pot. And number to call if you want to speak to her directly as we were talking to her, 773-789-STEW. That's 773-789-7839. Don't be shy. I'm the only one that's allowed to be shy here. So the rest of you, don't be shy.
I'm not shy at all, dude. I'm
Oh,
not shy at all.
that I
Not
know.
at all. I speak my mind. No worries.
As
No,
well as you
not shy.
should. As well as you should, because you know it goes to what we are going to be touching on tonight. What's in store for Tyler.
Yes, yes.
And I'm
Beautiful.
sure you have some serious plans for your district.
I have some serious plans. As a matter of fact, you are absolutely correct. I said this, that the things that I promised to the people in Northwest Tyler, District 3, is that I'm going to be out there working every single day on their behalf to make certain that the resources that are available, that some of those resources will come into the Northwest part of the city. And I say this, and I've said it over and over, that when people come into our communities, in our cities, and they see the growth only in one direction, it is a reflection on the city fathers and mothers that we haven't taken care of all parts of our city. And so we want to make sure that every single part of our city is well cared for. And so I was talking to a young lady today about a business that people really want to see economically over in this part of the city. We have beautiful land in our area. And so even when I go to Washington, D.C., prior to becoming an elected official, I would talk to other businesses and other corporations, and I'd say to them, the rent's cheap in East Texas. Come on down to East Texas and take a look at what we look like here. I said, and compare what you pay in New York or California or Washington, D.C., anywhere on the East Coast and other areas, West Coast, and then compare how you can do business right here in East Texas and spend a lot less money in order to run that business. So you end up making more money because the people are here and they want resources brought into this community.
So the rent is cheap. Is the tax cheap?
The rent's cheap. And the taxes are. We have the lowest. I'm glad you brought that out. We have the lowest tax base in Tyler, Texas, than any place in the state of Texas, the great state of Texas.
Wow.
And we have 254 counties in Texas, and Smith County has the cheapest.
Wow.
The lowest, I should say, the lowest. Yes.
That it does speak to 254 counties, speaks to the size of Texas. I remember flying from California to Florida the first time I made that trip, and I went to sleep. It was a red-eye flight. I went to sleep, and I think I woke up over Texas like 4 times. It's ridiculous.
Yes. That's why they call us a country of its own. I mean, we have so much land mass in Texas. It's unbelievable.
Yes.
The size of Texas.
And all being well, I should hear from a fellow Texan of yours tonight briefly. He will be joining my show next week as a guest, but all being well, I should hear from him to be able to introduce the two of you, because I think that there's quite a bit of work that needs to be done in your area, and the distance between you two is only about 100 miles. So
actually, it's less. Actually, it's less than that.
Oh yes.
Yes, it's less than that.
Okay. So when I all being well, I hope he gets to call in. I should probably hear from him in about another 10 minutes or so. All being well. But you have been in office now, what, 5 days? 5 calendar days? Officially?
See, not even that. It was last Wednesday, so it won't even. Yeah, well, okay. About that, yes, about 5 days. You're exactly correct. You're exactly. It was an amazing swearing-in ceremony. We had about 300 guests that came out. The court, the chamber room was packed. The state room was packed. The hallways was packed. I mean, it was humbling to see the turnout. People came from across Texas to be with us. And it was an enjoyable day.
Nice.
So it just motivated me to just really get out there and hustle and work on behalf of Northwest Tyler.
But you've been doing some work in Tyler from before running for office, haven't you?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I ran for United States Congress against a fellow that I still feel should not be there. That have not actually worked on our behalf, have not authored any bills or brought anything into East Texas economically. And so why are you there? I'm not just to collect the paycheck.
Right.
So, yes. So I did run against him, and I was able to build up the the voter base of people, more people begin to get out to vote. Because that's been a big issue, that people have been told that their vote does not count, so therefore they've not gotten out to vote. And then people, this is so interesting, that people will go to the polls during the presidential election, and they will just vote for the president and go home. And I've always been baffled by that, DJ, that I have a ballot that's lined with people from the top all the way down.
Yes.
And so our message is that all politics is local, and you got to think about what's going on right around you. In your county commissioners and your city councils and your school boards and all of those, in your court system. Oh my goodness, in your court system, and then your sheriff, and oh my, they're just throwing votes away when they go and vote for the president and go home. They don't even understand that the president of the United States is selected by the Electoral College and everybody else is elected. And that is where you leave out the most powerful part of your life.
Right.
It's putting people in place. So we're here to work. We've been working all along. As you know, I'm retired United States Army officer. And so homelessness with veterans and other citizens is one of the big issues and one of the big problems that we have right here in Tyler, Texas. So we work on that every week.
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
The position of City Council Commissioner.
Yes.
What does that position really do? Good evening, guest 442 in the pot. Welcome. What does the City Commissioner do?
Right. Okay, that's an excellent question. First of all, you have to work hand in hand with not even just in your area, but you have to be able to have a great relationship with the mayor and with the other city council persons. And so then the infrastructure is one of the things that is paramount in the community. Our parks and recreation, like, let me give you an example. This summer,
yes,
in the community where I live, no parks are open. Our swimming pool was closed down, and the two parks that we had are under construction, and so therefore our children had no parks that they could participate and play in and swim in and all of that this summer. So parks and recreation, very important. The budget of where the money is spent in our city is very important. We have we have two malls all in one area of the city, another mall being built or going to be built, as that's all in that same area. So I want to see some economic growth to come to Northwest Tyler. Therefore, we have to work hand in hand with the economic development here in Tyler, which is all under the auspices of the city of Tyler. We have to work closely with the Planning and Zoning Board to make sure that some planning and some zoning takes place in all areas of the city. So the growth of the city in city council is everything that have our water, clean water, everything, infrastructure, all of those things come under the heading of the city, and they're very, very important.
So you mentioned two malls already and a third being built, but they're not in your section of the city?
Exactly. They're all in the same area.
So there's only growth happening in one area?
There you go. That's my point exactly. In basically one area, a little bit in another area is beginning to pick up in the west, deep west part of the city. That's another district. So that's why we have to have people in place that is going to work for all areas. And so that I'm up for the task. I went back to school to get my degree in political science because I really wanted to. It had been a while since I studied government, And
Yes.
so I really wanted to get myself up to speed on everything, and I am up to speed. And then I actually returned back and began working on my master's in political science. And then I decided I got enough under my belt, and so I'm going to use everything. I've owned businesses in my career. As a matter of fact, most of my life is spent, of course, as I said, retired military.
Right.
But I usually worked for myself and started initiatives and businesses. So I know how to start a business, know how to operate one, know how to run a budget, and all of that. So I'm looking forward to working with the city and other council people to bring some businesses into Northwest Tyler.
Now, I have two questions.
Sure.
One, to satisfy my feeble mind with the question of why you think that all this growth and development is happening in one section and not all over. And the other being taking a business-like approach to running the city, if you think that that is more productive than a political approach.
Well, absolutely. First of all, let me go to the second one. The city is a business, so therefore you have to run it like a business. And city government actually is non-political. There's no, when you're running for that office, there's no Democrat or Republican. It's just a citizen that's running to represent a specific part of that city.
Got you.
So therefore, you can put the politics aside. And then number two, I'm going to bring the politics back in, right? Everything is political. So where the wealth is, where the wealthiest people and the wealthiest part of the city, you know where I'm going with that.
Yes.
So, and the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So if we have not had people squeaking.
Right.
Well, I'm squeaking right now, DJ.
Do they have the resources, though, to be able to squeak?
Tyler, Texas is one of the wealthiest cities in the great state of Texas. There is lots of money. We have something called the half-cent sales tax, where when you go and live in our hotels, we get half of that tax money, and that tax base is used to build up the community.
My goodness.
And so, yes.
So, what? I'm confused. I tell you, this is my feeble mind. You know, I'm a very simple guy. I'd like to believe.
Okay.
And so, you know, I like things put very simply for me.
Sure.
So, that doesn't make sense.
Well, once again, remember I said now let's bring politics back.
Right.
Even though it's not supposed to be political and the whole entire city should be glowing.
Correct.
But it's not, but it has not happened. So politics is involved in everything, even though city government is not a political Democrat and a Republican. You're just working for the great city. But everything is political, and we have to keep that at the forefront. Everything, from our community, from the White House to the church house, from the boardroom to every room that you can think of, the courtroom, all everywhere, it's political.
Oh my! If I think there would be so much more that would be accomplished if some of the politics would be taken out of it.
Yes.
But
now you nailed it. I like the way you said that. My sister uses that term all the time, politics.
Oh, yeah.
That's her favorite term.
Listen, growing up in Jamaica, and again, I have nothing to lose. I call it as it is, as I see it. And if anybody wants to correct me, please go ahead and do so. You can either go to my website, kevinstew.com, and jump in the stew pot and make the correction, or you can call 773-789-STEW. But when you're playing games with people's lives and
Yeah.
placing bets on it for your own personal reward or your own personal gain, that's politics.
Right.
And so if you see it any other way, then fine. See it some other way.
Right.
But
Sure.
convince me that I'm wrong. Please.
Exactly.
And
Right. Right.
although understanding is not a matter of right or wrong, my understanding of it has been substantiated by years of your practices. When I say your, I mean generally speaking, politicians' practices.
Right.
So
Right.
prove me wrong, change my understanding if you be so kind. I want to take an opportunity to say thanks to Althea with her healing heavenly hands for sponsoring this segment of the show. Althea can be reached at 954-655-9000. If you live in Broward County, South Palm Beach County, North Miami-Dade County here in South Florida, give Althea a call. She's a licensed massage therapist, and she'll come to you and lay her healing heavenly hands on you and leave you
Beautiful.
in a state of perfect ease
Yeah.
and bliss. If you ever come to
Look
South
forward.
Florida, Dr. McKellar, you
Yes,
you
sir. I
you
will.
so need to give her a call. Oh,
That's
hold
awesome.
hold a moment
Awesome.
for me. Let me bring this
Yes.
call in.
Okay. Sure.
Hello, good evening. Richard, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to take this quick opportunity to. Oh, you have something on in your background, Richard. If you could just mute that for me, please. Let me bring this call in.
Okay. Sure.
All right. You with me?
Good evening.
Richard? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I was asking you to mute the device that you have playing in the background.
Something on in your background, Richard. If you could just mute that for me, please.
Is it muted now?
Well, I still hear it. Dr. McKellar, you still with us?
You with me?
Yes, I'm with you. I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So I want to take an opportunity to real quick introduce you to Richard Miles. Richard,
Okay.
I have with me tonight Dr. Shirley McKellar, City Council Commissioner for Tyler, Texas. And Tyler is not very far from where you are located, Richard. And Richard is the founder of a very special organization in Dallas, correct, Richard?
Oh, yes. Well,
Yes.
then, if he is in Dallas, yes, he is 100 miles from me if he is in Dallas, yes.
Yes.
Great.
Right.
Hello, Mr. Richard. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Councilwoman?
I'm great, thank you. As a matter of fact, I'm in Dallas each Tuesday. There at the Veterans Affairs Hospital. I volunteer my service there. So each week I'm there, so sometimes perhaps we'll get together.
Oh, most definitely, yes, ma'am.
And I'm looking forward to you two connecting really because I came across Mr. Miles here by actually seeing a post on social media of an interview conducted by CNN, and we'll talk
Wow.
some more about that next week when he's on with us. But I really wanted you two to connect, and I'm glad that Richard could call in to say hello. Actually,
Yes, yes.
um,
Yes,
So this CNN, was this an interview that Mr. Richard had with CNN?
yes, yes,
Outstanding. Okay.
he was featured by them for his organization.
Outstanding. And can I know a little bit about the name of the organization and what it's about?
yes, ma'am. The name of the organization is Miles of Freedom, and It was started after my full exoneration. I was wrongfully incarcerated. State of
Oh, yes,
Tennessee.
I know exactly
Right.
who you are. I know exactly
Right.
who you
And
are.
so one of my board members nominated me, and we kind of moved forward. And CNN came out and did an awesome section on it. So we're just excited about
Yes.
the opportunity. Yes, ma'am.
Outstanding. Yes, I do remember. I look forward to meeting you in person, but I was following you and that interview and everything that
Yes,
you had
ma'am.
gone through. Those are one of the primary things that I am interested in is our criminal justice system. I went back and studied that as well, and so we work on that day in and day out. In particular, we have the Veterans Court of where sometimes some of our veterans have gotten into snafus, but in particularly those who have been incarcerated and should not have been.
Yes, ma'am.
So-
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Richard, Mr. Miles, I'm sure you answer to all of those.
Yes, I remember his story quite well.
I'm looking forward to hearing great things happening between
Yeah.
you and Dr. McKellar, because
Yeah.
that right there is just great things for the state of Texas waiting to happen, to spread
Exactly.
throughout the United States.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, let me just tell you this, Mr. Richard, that I tracked Miss Joyce Ann Brown from the day, because she was actually the first female that was incarcerated that was unable to get the pay, and I tracked her all the way to her death. And I would attend seminars and summits there at University of Texas, there in Arlington, talking to all of the ones that would come through that program that experienced the same thing that you had experienced in your life. It's a tragedy.
Ms. Brown, that's my mentor. That's the reason why she's one of the reasons why I'm out. She that's who I trained up under as far as freedom, centurion.
Yes, I remember you.
Got her out. Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
cool,
Very well.
Now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
I look forward to meeting you. Look forward to seeing you again, and so that we could have established that relationship. I appreciate you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Well, let's connect, and I will let you guys get back to y'all's interview, and I appreciate the opportunity.
I'll
tune in next week so I can get in on that interview as well
and
listen in.
If you two don't mind, I could exchange your numbers. I could send your numbers to each other so that you two could connect.
Please do that.
Okay.
Do that. Please. Yes.
All right. I'll be sure to do that.
All right,
Thank you, Richard.
God bless.
Have a good night.
Yes. Bye. Bye now. Yes, I remember him very, very well. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. And I think, what he is doing in Dallas, and this was prior to actually you winning your seat, that I had thought about connecting the two of you.
Wow. Wonderful.
And that's because of what I know of you, having being a regular on the Donnie Walker Morning Show.
Correct.
And the discussions that you would have, and what you stand for, just basically what you stand for, period. Now, I'm going to ask you to take us down memory lane for a bit. Take us through the life of Shirley. We're going to strip off all the accolades, all the accomplishments, and we're going to put them on layer by layer, because who you are now started somewhere. And I really would like for myself and everyone listening to get a deeper understanding of who you are, so they can have more of a connection to who you are because of where you're coming from.
Sure.
Let's start out with your childhood.
Okay. What a beautiful place to start. So, let me start with my parents. First of all, my mother was an only child.
Mm.
And the one thing that she said that when she married my father is that children should not grow up by themselves.
Right.
So consequently, she had 7 of us. So I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters. There's 3 above me and 3 below me.
You're a
I'm
middle
smack
child.
dab in the middle. Yes, I am a middle. I'm not the typical middle child that the psychologist talks about. Right? I'm just not.
That's
I'm
good to
not.
know.
But I grew up here in East Texas in Tyler. I grew up on 500 acres of land. My father was agriculture, watermelons, roses, potatoes.
Mm.
We have something called the Rose Festival parade here in Tyler, Texas. And even though my father, let me take it all the way back to my grandfather. My grandfather, who was able to purchase land. He was not a sharecropper. He actually outright purchased the land,
Mhm.
and so we all grew up on that land. It was my father, and then his brother, and then another brother. We all lived on that land, and so then they had land. We lived on the 500 acres, and then they also had land where they grew all of our produce. And so my father used to ship his produce, his watermelons and his roses to New York on cold storage. They would drive them by truck. My family actually, our last name, my maiden name is Irwin, Erwin. My family was the first black family to own a trucking company in America. And it was headquartered out of Omaha, Nebraska. And so we believe that trucks touch everything.
Right.
And so they recognized that was a very lucrative business, so they got into that business and early in life. So the one thing that my parents and my grandparents pushed onto us is that we could do anything that we set our minds to do. Now, my eldest brother is a principal. My eldest sister was an engineer. They're retired, semi-retired, because they continue on to do things with engineering. My next brother was the business person. He did the watermelons, roses, potatoes, and all of that stuff that my father did. And then next is myself, and you know what I do.
Right.
And then after that, I have a sister underneath me who's a psychologist, and then a sister underneath her is a architect, interior design, and then I have another brother who's a business. So those are the things that we
Nice.
do. Now, I laid out in my career, I knew very early as a young kid. I'm talking about as a 4 or 5-year-old. My birthday came late, so my parents sent me to school early to make up for the fact that my birthday came in October. And you have to have your birthday by the 1st of September in order to get in school on time. So they made sure that I did not get left behind because they felt I was a pretty precocious kid. I liked books and liked reading and liked learning. And so when my big sister went away to school, who was 4 years older than me, so when she went to first grade school, I didn't understand why she could go to school and I had to be left behind. So my father made sure that I was able to go to school. So I got that head start. That's why I actually believe in early childhood education. I believe that every kid should get that early boost.
Yes.
In public schools so that they can be the great leaders and the great communicators and learn about money. My father taught us how to count money at an early age.
Yes.
So he would bring money home. Like he sold watermelons, roses, potatoes, so he dealt with a lot of cash, as well as he had a rose nursery, so he dealt with checks as well.
Which explains the rose love that you have.
Excuse me, I'm sorry?
And that explains the love of roses that you have.
Yes, I love the roses. That was a rose for Rose City was my mantra when I was out campaigning for the seat.
Yes.
So my father would have his places set up on the sides of the road and in various places. He'd have stands, fruit stands set up. And so at the end of the evening, we'd go around and collect for the people that were working for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'd bring the money home and he'd put it in the floor. And so we were little kids.
Yes.
And so he would say, you count this and you count that. And so I remember this so well, that my father gave my sister, my big sister, a pile of nickels to count. And then he gave me a stack of dimes to count. And I was 4. And I said, I want the big money. Because my sister had a nickel and I had the dime, right? So
Right.
my father said, even though hers is bigger in size, but yours is more valuable because you have 2 of those compared to her 1.
Right.
So you have a dime, which means it's 2 nickels, and so your money is more. So he taught us how to count as little bitty people. So I tell people all the time, I didn't learn how to. You remember there was this play dollars and play money that kids were taught to. I said I learned how to count on real money and not play money. Yeah. And then, so to fast forward, so as we begin to grow up, my parents used to say to us, it's not if you're going to college, it's where you're going to college. You decide where you want to go, because you're going to get out of here and go to college, and you're going to get the highest form of education. They always said that. And then they never told us to go to work for somebody. As a matter of fact, they said, get the highest form of education, start your business, because my father used to say, it's not always about employing, it's not always about being an employee. He said, think about being an employer and employ people. And so business was always in the forefront of my mind. What did I want to do? What type of business? So I started lots of businesses, lots of initiatives. I was the first, myself and 2 other clinicians were the first Black women in Tyler, Texas, to start a home health care agency. I owned an early childhood education school. I had a lot of grants and contracts, and we did breast cancer awareness. I did a lot of national and international speaking.
Yes.
Actually spoke before the 4th European Congress on the best clinical practices for treating breast cancer. There was actually 16 clinicians, female clinicians from around the world that were selected. I was selected along with 1 other clinician from out of Pennsylvania, Philadelphia to be exact. And then I was selected from Texas to travel to Europe to present. And so I was out of the 16, they selected 5 of us to actually present to Congress on what the best clinical practices were, and I actually was blessed to be one of those 5 to speak before the 4th European Congress. That was quite an experience for me. It was quite an experience. And so I had the opportunity to launch a lot of things while I was in the military. I was able to save the military 20,000. This was during wartime, because we needed more critical care professionals. So I developed a critical care program for professionals, and was able to teach that for those that could not travel to the area where I was. We were able to go on television, and I spearheaded that entire program, found military personnel that could actually teach in that program, and we were able to save the military $20,000 in continued education. To be able to do that. That was quite an experience. And then I established the Comprehensive Breast Cancer Center. Breast cancer awareness is one of my primary areas.
Yes.
And so was able to establish a Comprehensive Breast Cancer Center in the European Theater and serve as the chief director, leader for that program as a chief nurse. And so that was quite an experience for me as well. I held a lot of positions. As a matter of fact, another one of very important ones was that I was in charge of the Combat Life-Saving School, where every single person in the 5th Army had to come through my school there in Dallas, Texas, before they got deployed to the war. So I've had a great career. an amazing opportunity. I was one of two females who had a military license that could drive everything in the military, because guess what? When I was 4 and 5 years old, I was driving my father's tractors and learned how to drive the trucks and all of those things that we had on our
On
land,
the
on our
farm.
farm.
Right.
So, yes. So I'm a real farm girl, real East Texas farm girl.
Nice. At what point did you get into nursing? What was the inspiration behind that?
Well, that's an excellent question. And let me just share with you, as I said, I knew at the age of 4 that I wanted to be a nurse. And the reason being, my godmother, who I lived with her Monday through Friday so I could go to school, special private school.
Mm-hmm.
And so she had a sister who had cancer, as a matter of fact. So during the day, I was at school. She was an educator. She was a first grade teacher, so she was at school. And then she picked me up from my school, and we'd go home to her house,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd have dinner, and then we'd have piano lessons. And then at nighttime, we would go to her sister's home, and she would take care of her sister during the night. And so she would wake up and change her, and I would wake up with her. I was 4, and I would get the little blue pad, and I would give it to her, and I'd get the powder, and I'd get all the things that she would clean her up with.
Yes.
I would make sure I'd get those. And so I became a nurse at the age of 4.
Wow.
So that was so I knew when I went to public school, my focus was the math and the sciences and the chemistry. I knew I was going to go into medicine. And so then I ended up getting my doctorate degree in nursing. And so I have been able to teach, be an adjunct professor in combat medicine in the military, ICU, CCU, that's intensive care, cardiac care, combat medicine. Those are I like high performance, high tech medicine. So I was able to work in all those areas, and it has been an amazing career. I had the opportunity to travel into about 30 countries during my military career, and traveled to 35 countries in my whole entire career.
Whoa.
So that's a little bit about. And then, so let me move fast forward a little bit. After coming back from the war. Yes, well, a little bit more. After coming back from the war.
Wait, pause.
Actually,
after coming back from which war?
Okay. I served in Operation Iraqi Freedom Operation during Freedom War, this last war that still continues to go on. 2002, I was preparing, my battle buddy and myself was preparing all medical records and files to get deployed, because after 9/11, we knew that we were going to be deployed to the war. So in 2003 and 2004, we were deployed to Operation Iraqi Freedom, and my hospital was the first medical unit to be deployed to that war when the war kicked off under President George Bush.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So then to fast forward back to where I was, so I saw things. I was sent back to Brooke Army Medical Center, that's Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas. I was stationed there on 3 different occasions. But I saw things happening to veterans that I didn't like. Veterans were being sent home with no prosthesis from being injured in the war. Many of those badly burned that I saw. So I decided to run for Congress. And that's how I got into that side of the political process, because actually my father got me involved in the political process at age 18, not to run for an office, but to volunteer my service to campaigns, because he asked me, he said to me, how would you like to work on a campaign? I was 18,
right,
a college student, and I said, yeah, how much are you going to pay me? So, because I heard him say work, right?
Right.
And so he says, well, not that I cannot pay you, I can. He said, but sometimes it's not all about pay right now. It's about pay down the line. And so what he showed me is that you sometimes volunteer your service for what may come forth to you later. And so the campaign that I worked on, this gentleman was running for county commissioner, and his wife was the director of the Smith County Health Department here in Tyler, Texas. So my father wanted me to see and mentor with someone who was a director, and later on I became a director. So the message was powerful. It was amazing. So volunteerism is very important to me.
Your
and
father's
that's why
a wise
I volunteer
man.
every single. My father was brilliant, and his father was even more brilliant, I think. My father was a mathematician, and he could count money in his head. He never had to take a pencil and a paper. He was a brilliant mathematician and made lots of money in his lifetime, lots and lots of money. So I volunteer my service every single week with the veterans and also with the homeless issues here in my county, in Tyler. So that's a little bit about me.
That's a lot. And you played piano. You were taught piano too.
I was taught piano at the age of 4 years, and I was and I played the clarinet. I was in the marching band, my high school band, and played first clarinet. So I like music. I enjoy music.
I think
also
musicians are the best people ever.
Yeah,
let me just put that out there.
It's good for the brain. It's good for the brain.
It is.
It really is. It really is good for the brain. So then a group of citizens here in our community came to me and said, "Would you run for this position?" And said, "You're the best person for it. You're already doing the work, so forth and so on." And so there it is.
I was actually going to ask you about that, because all of the things that you mentioned coming up from your childhood to going into your military, your high school, all of these things have an aspect of service in it.
Yes, sir.
And whether it be service to the family, service to the community, or service to the community at large, being your country, and the world as it was portrayed, because the war was supposed to be to spread or to give freedom.
Right.
So you have always been involved in that.
You.
Sorry, go ahead.
You. Yes, right. I'm a person of service, and that's. I saw my parents. My mother was the president of the Parent Teacher Association. As a matter of fact, she spent so much time at my school, our school, that people thought she was one of the educators, and so. And so she didn't work early in her career. As her children were growing up, she didn't work. As a matter of fact, she never went to work. I was in the 10th grade when she's a nutritionist. And so she never worked until I was in the 10th grade.
Wow.
So we were big kids, right?
Yes.
So she worked, she kept my father's book. She kept the record. She was great at that. Secretarial skills were amazing. Leadership skills were amazing. So that's what she did. And she traveled with my father throughout, wherever. And the beauty, I tell you how brilliant, another thing that my father did that was amazing. My grandmother, as I mentioned that, my mother was an only child.
Yes. And
her parents got divorced. She was about 15 when they got divorced. And they were living in Dallas, Texas. And so my mother's grandparents lived here in Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
And so my grandmother was going to work at the Adolphus Hotel that still exists in Dallas.
Okay.
And so she didn't want my mother to be left alone because she was beginning to grow up. So she brought her to East Texas. And so she would come home on her off days to be with my mother. So my father said to my grandmother, after my parents got married and started to have children, then my father said to my grandmother, how much do they pay you at that hotel? And so my grandmother told him whatever that amount was. I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
And he says, well, I will pay you that and more for you to come and live with us and help to take care of our young children. See how smart he was? So my grandmother quit working and came and lived with us and helped to be there with us and helped to rear us up while my parents travel and took care of the business and so forth.
Right.
So we never had to go to a child care school, you know, that kind of thing. We always had family. We don't
Right.
have that too much more anymore, do we?
No. No, we
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. So that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
So now
So
we get an understanding of where you're coming from when you talk about childcare. We get an
yes,
understanding of where you're coming from with early education. As a matter of fact, with early education, as you were telling the story about you counting money, my younger son a few years ago said something that just blew me away. He was with his mother, and
okay.
she called me after and told me what happened. He asked her, how many minutes are there in a dollar? And she was like, what? He said, you said time is money. How many minutes
Yeah,
are there in a dollar?
love it. Wow.
And I was like, he had to have been round about 5, 6.
Okay.
He's 9 now, going on 10.
Wow. Okay.
And I was like, whoa.
That's deep, isn't it?
Yes, very.
Wow. Yes.
So your story about your father sitting you down and saying, it's not the size of the money, it's the value
Right.
that counts,
Right.
and you learning those things early, it brought that back to me. And I
Sure.
thought, what an awesome thing to do, to
Right.
encourage your children to grow with a business that you're growing,
Right.
to encourage your children to look forward to doing something of their own, not just to get on the wagon that says, okay, you've gotten this education, or go out and get this education, now go work for somebody.
Exactly.
So that now gives me insight to where you're going, or what you're trying to achieve when you say,
Sure.
early childhood education is important.
Sure.
Family
Sure.
is important. Investing in your
Absolutely.
community is important.
Yeah. Oh,
No,
yes. Oh,
I
yes.
get, and I'm pretty sure those who didn't know this about you really have a better understanding of who Shirley McKellar is. Shirley J. McKellar, just to be specific.
Sure. 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 You say that so well.
you know, and how service is important, and volunteering is can be more valuable than employment,
Sure. Sure. Sure.
because the return on that investment
On that
can be
investment.
so
Okay.
great.
Oh,
I can speak.
absolutely.
I can relate to that myself, having grown up going to church in the Salvation Army. And I kind of cheated when I
Wow.
said musicians are the best ever, because I started learning music at age 10 against my will. But
Okay.
I played brass for almost 30 years in the Salvation Army.
Wow. Is that right?
Yeah. So I kind of cheated when I said, and I still play music till this day as a DJ and as a musician. Um,
Sure.
and so I kind of cheated when I said musicians are the best ever.
Wow. Yeah.
But
Wow.
it speaks a lot, though, to why
Sure.
people would suggest that you should run for office,
Sure.
albeit
Sure.
city, and you did go for Congress, and I think this is where you needed to be first.
Sure, sure. That I've heard that several times, and so amazing, DJ, that I never thought about this for myself,
Hmm.
and it was always so interesting that it took someone else. It was a group of gentlemen, a group of Black Republicans, to be exact, that came to me and said, "You need to run for Congress. You're sitting on all this talent. You're military, you're medical, you're education, you're an entrepreneur. Those are all the skill sets that is needed in Congress that congressional people work toward to have in our country. You've done this in your career. You should be running for that seat." And then that's how I got there with that. And then later on,
Yes.
here comes others in January saying, "You need to do this. You've already done the work. You've already worked to build up the voter base here. You've already been pushing things for this community where you live. You should run for this seat." So it always took someone else to come and say that rather than my thinking it for myself. Like I said, I always worked on others' campaigns, but never thought about running for an office myself.
Well, thank God for the people that He put in your life.
Isn't that the truth? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because sometimes we miss the things that we're being called towards.
Sure.
Being
Sure.
complacent, being comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I there was the question last week that I had asked about if where you are now is safe. Is that if that's where you consider to be safe? Where do you go to progress? Where do you go to grow? What space is that?
Right.
And Tyler, Texas is lucky that you didn't choose to just stay in that comfortable place, that safe place.
Sure.
Having been out there in the military and out in the war zones and have seen danger firsthand, then it wouldn't be that much of a stretch for you to step out past safe, especially in service.
Sure, exactly. Well, with the fact that I've been you could almost say around the world, I don't even look for every zone wherever I am. To me, is a safe zone because God has blessed me with the opportunity to learn areas where I've been and learn the people and see how they maneuver and see how they carry out. And so I can adapt to about anything that I need to adapt to in order to advance the areas for which I see that needs to be advanced and worked on.
Yes. Well, I see Tyler growing as a result of you helping out. And like they said, you've already been doing the work.
Yeah.
It may as well you get into the office where you still have to put in the work for the change, but now you're in a better position to one, be heard, and two, to effect some of the changes.
Exactly. You're 100% correct.
So
100%.
I know where I am is a far cry from where you are geographically.
Right.
But this magnificent thing that is called the internet puts us all in one little community.
Together. That's exactly correct. Absolutely. That's the beauty of it, isn't it?
Yes.
That's the beauty of it.
So we really don't have an excuse to feel that we are not connected, because we are.
Yeah.
And what we have realized is things that happen in your community, your geographic community,
Sure.
are no different from some of the things that happen in mine. So
Right.
clearly we can learn from each other.
Oh, no question. No question. No question.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if any city officials are listening in right now or will be listening to going on and pulling up the show from the archives or from someone sharing it on social media. But we need to call each other up. Reach out,
Absolutely.
call each other up and say, hey,
Yeah.
what do you think about this? Do you think this could work in my community?
Right. Right.
And
And we
that's how we
have to do
grow.
just that. That's how we grow. Absolutely correct. Absolutely. I look forward to that. And the world is so small. It's amazing that you had on your show to call in tonight the young gentleman that I sat there on that stage
Mm-hmm.
and watched all of those people, to include Miss Joyce Ann Brown, Mr. Miles, and all of these people who served these times behind bars for crimes that they
didn't
never
commit.
committed. That
Right.
was hurtful for me.
Mm-hmm.
I studied criminal justice, and then to see this happening in our country, and it's still happening
Why did you
in our
study criminal
country.
justice?
Well, that's an excellent question. My undergrad was at Texas Women's University, right?
Yes.
And so they selected X amount of students to go to law school because they saw things happening in the nursing profession that they didn't like what they were seeing. And so they wanted to send some nurses to law school so that they could lobby and fight on our behalf.
Mm.
And so I was selected as one of those, and the money that they gave us was $30,000, right?
Yes.
Well, law school cost, the closest law school to me, which is in Dallas, Texas, which is Southern Methodist University, cost about $60,000 to go to law school. So I asked if I could use that money because I didn't want to ask $30,000 more.
Right.
And because every education that I've ever gone to, every degree I've ever had, I never paid for it. I was all on scholarships or the military.
Mm-hmm.
So they said I could use that money to study criminal justice, and that's what I did. Because I was always interested in law.
But this was around about the time
Go
that
ahead.
you were doing what? Your master's in nursing?
Yes, exactly. Exactly right.
That's a lot of work.
I already had my master's in nursing, and then it's when I got the letter saying that you've been accepted to receive $30,000 to go to law school.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, some years ago, I was listening to the radio, and there was a little catchphrase that they were using on the station. It was this Christian station, and
Sure.
they were talking about service and people being called to service, and they said, God doesn't call the qualified; He qualifies the called.
That's all right. I love it.
You have been put in places that you
Right.
just needed to be at that time,
Right. At that time.
after being,
At that time.
or at a time when you were about to be qualified for something.
Yes. As I mentioned, I've had an amazing career. I have no change coming back. I say this all the time. If I left this earth today, I have no change coming back. I've lived my life like it's golden, and it has been golden for me. It has been amazing.
And it sounds like it just continues.
And it continues. You're absolutely correct. It continues. That is awfully good.
You were put in this position here to make a change and as a result to effect a greater change. I truly believe it.
For such a time as this, I believe
Yes.
that. I believe that. Yes, sir.
And I wish you all the best.
Thank
I
you so
will
much.
be tracking and sharing using social media for the media that it is
Right.
and not to be social because I prefer to do that directly and I encourage others to do that directly.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Use social media for what it is, more media, and it is social. Call
Yes,
someone and say
yes.
how you doing.
That's exactly correct. Absolutely. Beautiful. So well put. So well put.
So I will be calling you, and I know on occasions I'll have to leave a message, but I'm fine with that.
Sure.
Because you'll be busy. You're
Well,
going to be very
just know
busy.
this. Well, right, but just know this: I'm a professional woman, and I return my phone calls. I do.
Yes, yes. I have
So
I
I'll be
have had that
returning the phone calls.
experience with you. Yes,
Yes, yes, yes, yes.
and I'll definitely be passing on Richard Miles' number to you,
Oh, please do that. Text
and
that to
and
me,
and yours
and
to
I'll be
him.
giving him a call. Yes,
Yes,
yes. I will be connecting to him very soon because
yes.
we need his expertise and all the things that he's doing because we have a lot of issues that we need to work on.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And I think
This
he's
has
a
been
great
this has been
resource.
amazing. Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed being on your show tonight. It's just been wonderful,
I thank you.
wonderful.
I thank you. I thank you. And
Yes, yes, yes.
I wish you a very good night. Um,
Thank you so much.
and my platform is here for you to
Okay,
use because it's. Oh, before you go,
okay,
two things I need from you before you
okay,
go.
sure. Okay,
One, how people can get in touch with you because I'm pretty sure there'll be some people that want to actually talk to you after
sure,
this.
absolutely,
And two,
absolutely.
for you to just share what you had cut short. You mentioned it at the beginning, but for you to share that aspect of you because there's also a broadcasting side of you.
Right.
So if you could share that real quick before you go. So share
I
those two
get that
things.
correct, didn't I? Yes. Okay, I actually do 3 shows per week. On Monday night, you can find me at Blog Talk USA Radio, and our show is called Marvelous Monday, and
Mhm.
that's on Monday night. That's from 8 p.m. until 10. That's Texas time, East Texas time. And I can give you that information where they can certainly tune into our show. We have an amazing show on Monday night, and that number is call number is area code 512-605-9375. And once again, that's Blog Talk USA Radio, and that's on Monday, 8 p.m. right now, as our time going on now, till 10. And then on Wednesday morning, I'm on WGLRO.com, Baltimore, Johnny Walker Morning Show, and that show is called Wellness Wednesday.
Yes.
And we talk about all kinds of things and how to keep our minds well and how not to let the things that's going on all around us get the best of us, get us down.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as you know, Mr. Danny Walker is a veteran as well.
Yes.
So we focus a lot on what's going on with veterans and how to help them with things. So you can get that WGLRO.com. And then on Thursday, we're on from 12 noon until 1 o'clock. That's East Texas time, and that's KGLD Radio, and we're headquartered. That is also headquartered out of Houston, Texas, but we have our local station there in Tyler, Texas, and you can get that at kgld.org. Or if you want to come in as a call-in, then let me give you that number here. And we got a new number, so let me get up there, and I'll give you that number.
Mm-hmm.
It is area code 605-475-4900, and our code number is 558521#. So we invite anybody and everybody to listen in to our shows at any given time. And I tell you what, I will be coming back in to listen to you as well and to be a part. As a matter of fact, if you don't mind, I want to come back in and listen in on next Monday night
By
when
all
Mr.
means.
Miles comes in.
By all means.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes,
It's
thank you
my
so much.
pleasure.
I
It's my
thank Mr. Dunny Walker for connecting us up and establishing a new relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you so very much.
a quite valuable relationship, or well, actually invaluable.
Absolutely.
I,
There you go. There you go.
I couldn't put a value to it even if I tried. So-
Sure. There you go. Thank you so much. God bless you. And thank you so
thank
much
you.
for having me on. And I look forward to the relationship. Have a great evening.
You too, and I look forward to it also. We'll be in touch.
All right.
You take care.
All right. Bye now.
Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Shirley McKellar. Wow. What a woman. What a life. Can you say Dr. McKellar for president? What do you say? What do you say? I want to say thanks to JTMC Enterprise for sponsoring this segment of the show. JTMC Enterprise take care of your entertainment needs, your tour management, your bookings, your promotions, your event management, your social media management. Just give them a call, 678-793-8800, or visit them at jtmcenterprise.com. Tell them DJ Kevin Stew sent you. You heard about it on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, musical therapy time. Believe it or not. Oh boy, time flies. We'll be right back.
Policy Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Policy Media Group.
Are you crazy about the music industry? You aspire to hit it big in music? Or maybe you've sweated out a soulful killer beat and are now stuck finding it's not as easy as it looked. Oh, but it can be easy for you with JTMC. We've been there. We know how it feels. So we solve challenges like production, promotion, marketing, branding and development, and more. With over 30 years of experience, JTMC is a one-stop shop for artists. We handle your graphic design, writing services, PR, as well as event planning, e-blasts, artist management, and bookings, so also your website and social media needs as well. We're experts in using creativity to persuade audiences on behalf of artists, drawing on our diverse experience to create projects that connect with audiences intellectually and emotionally. Artist success is everything to us, and our years of experience and commitment will be behind you for every one of your needs. If you've got music for the world to hear, whether you're a new or established artist, visit us at jtmcenterprise.com.
Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school,
In math,
I learned that I'm ugly
I
and
learned
useless.
that I'm trash.
And in gym,
In biology,
I learned that I'm pathetic
I learned that I'm fat
and a
and
joke.
stupid.
In history,
Today in
I learned that
school,
I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick.
And in
And
gym,
at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell.
and a joke.
In chemistry, I learned that no one likes
In
me.
biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid.
In English,
And in
I
math,
learned that I make people
I
sick.
learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today
The only thing I didn't learn today
The only thing I didn't learn,
Is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
Hey, I'm representing for DJ Kevin Stew, working on the night shift radio show. Won't go changing like the weather, just to please the devil never. Will DJ Kevin Stew sell his soul? That's a word and honor. It's Christine representing word and honor. Celestia DJ Kevin Stew. Gonna wish you love. Gonna wish you love. Genuine love. Yeah.
I want to welcome you guys back to the show. It's our musical therapy segment.
Though you made me, I'm gonna wish you love. Use me, I'm gonna wish you love. Deceive me, I'm gonna wish you love.
This is new music from Jason Mighty.
Know you fake, but I'm gonna
A track called Wish You Love.
you face, but I'm gonna wish you love. You a snake, but I'm gonna wish you love. Cause love is the key to life. I am not like you, so I can't do the things you do. God said to love my enemy, pray for those despitefully use me. Give you my only pair of shoes, still you wanna take my socks from me. But it's okay, you can't take my heart away. Though you hate me, I'm gonna wish you love. Use me, I'm gonna wish you love. Deceive me, I'm gonna wish you love. Cause love is the key to life. Though you fake, but I'm gonna wish you love. Two-faced, but I'm gonna wish you love. You a snake, but I'm gonna wish you love. Love is the key to life. Don't need to be pretending. Hatred and bitterness is showing. Ain't gonna do nothing for you. Pray God have mercy on you. I pray you change all your ways now. After all you've done, God still have love for you. Though you hate me, I'm gonna wish you love. Use me, I'm gonna wish you love. Deceive me, I'm gonna wish you love. Cause love is the key to life. No, you fake, but I'm gonna wish you love. Two-faced, but I'm gonna wish you love.
What words?
You a snake, but I'm gonna wish
Yeah, listen to the lyrics of this.
love is the key to life. Change all your ways.
Two-faced, but I'm gonna wish you love.
After all
You're fake, but I'm gonna wish you love.
love for you.
This is the sound of Jadan.
As a team, you used to tell me
Working out with Izan.
I'm a singer. So, oh no, you know I'm if you be the winner. It hurt me when
The track is called Wolf in Sheep Clothing.
In King Selassie, I guide me on with journey. Yeah. I to the Z, to the A, to the N. It's Jadan. And Jadan.
Must be a thing.
I'm saying no for them a wolf in sheep clothing. No for them a war like them real when I pretend them a pretend. Them a wolf in sheep clothing. No for them a pray and I wish just to see your life.
how me feel. Remember, everything was so real, you know, remember. We used to roll as a team, you used to tell me, say Jadan, you are me singer. So, oh no, you know I'm if you be the winner. It hurt me when you work so hard for them. And them a tell you it no worth it. Them heart no clean, it dirty. Bitter than thirsty, but them can't
No for them a wolf in sheep clothing. No for them a go on like them real when I pretend them a pretend. Them a wolf in sheep clothing. No for them a pray and I wish just to see your life end. Them a wolf in sheep clothing. No for them a go on like them real when I pretend them a pretend. Them a wolf in sheep clothing. I miss a wolf in sheep clothing. Yeah, said them a clip food feet catch wise. I roll under disguise. Lucky thing, me no idiot, no me think twice. Chief, I'm happy rise and open up eyes. Hey Jadan, them not like we see when we are striving. Just wanna say we future bright, and them never a go live. We see them youth ya hype up. King Selassie, I him take we on a higher heights. Them want crucify I like Christ. I see no for them a wolf in sheep clothing. No for them a go on like them real when I pretend them a pretend. Them a wolf in sheep clothing. No for them a pray and I wish just to see your life end. Them a wolf in sheep clothing. No for them a go on like them real when I pretend them a pretend. Them a wolf in sheep clothing. I miss a wolf in sheep clothing.
Me no know them having a them heart.
Jadan not who them a smiling like them peace hell we a laugh.
I come with a bag of style and never knew me but a crafter.
Them see we on the right and them no want to see we prosper.
I never see when we dey on the side and mix smaller.
And me with the bucket up and me head a carry water.
Everything we have to live we work very hard for.
Jadan them not go live to see we maga. No for them a wolf in sheep clothing. No for them a go on like them real when I pretend them a pretend. Them a wolf in sheep clothing. No for them a pray and I wish just to see your life end. Them a wolf in sheep clothing. No for them a go on like them real when I pretend them a pretend.
A lot of people never wake up this morning, never live to see today. The ones who never heed judge a warning, never live to see today. Violence leave a lot of families.
This is on a Phil Watkins.
Live to see today.
Track called Today.
A lot of innocent people falling, that live to see today. So if you live to see another day, I tell you don't forget to pray. Jah bless you with His mercy. Another chance to right the wrongs from the choices that you've made. Love will guide you upon your journey. Life is much better when you know what it's worth. Let every step count, let every move work. Here today, tomorrow, say your day and a deeper. So set your mind and good levity. With that you feel flirt. Waste your day seeking vanity. Flesh thing now go work. Walk fast from dirty levity. Road that you know feel hurt. It best to wear a smile than to wear a dirty smirk. Remember we put Jaja first. A lot of people never wake up this morning, never live to see today. Oh, the ones who never heed Jaja warning, never live to see today. Violence leave a lot of families falling, never live to see today. A lot of innocent people falling, not live to see today. Give thanks and praise, we still fortunate. Work up, spread the message, cause we still have blow breath. Life, no promise on the road where we check, but Jaja never failed me yet. Rise up in the morning, giving thanks with life I have a special romance. Me and good health a slow dance. Thank you, Jah, for giving me a next chance. You see the sun, you feel the breeze, you feel the pouring. Not take life for granted. You live another day of a million no morning. As Jah has come, a lot of people never wake up this morning. Never live to see today. Oh, the ones who never heed Jah warning. Never live to see today. Boy, let's leave a lot of families falling. Never live to see today. A lot of innocent people falling. Now live to see today. A lot of people never wake up this morning. Never live to see today. The ones who never heed Jah warning. Never live to see today.
I'm not saying no weapon that form against me shall prosper. I'm not so inside of me, greater than this world. So go and go teach it to the boys and to
This is Queen Kamala.
protect me, heart, mind, body.
Track called Protect Me.
That you are in full control. Protect me from the ones that might fake it while behind me back, feel me like them might take it. Go clean up your heart and come from your heart for the blessing will come. Protect me from the ones that will hate me while behind me back a jealousy and envy. My story real, me I tell you how me feel. The haters in plenty, it's like a battlefield. Love Father God, where bosses every seal. He touch me now me pain and me know it a fi heal. The road might be rough and me life might be tough. Mankind pay in a cash but in a God that where me trust. Me friends and family not stop live it up. So bossy champagne and watch him money pile up. Protect me heart, mind, body and soul. Father God that you are in full control. Protect me from the ones that might fake it while behind me back, feel me like them might take it. Go clean up your heart and come from your hearts for the blessing will come. Protect me from the ones that might hate me while behind me back a jealousy and envy. When the rain fall, you know it pours. Obstacles in my life, but my career it a soar. Some people will pass and turn up their nose. The higher the monkey climb, him but him exposed. There's a time for war, a time for peace. Blessed are the poor and the humble and the meek. There's a time for life and a time for death. The more them fight me, the stronger we get. Protect me heart, mind, body and soul. Father God, that you are in full control. Protect me from the ones that will fake it while behind me back, feel me like them are taken. Go clean up your heart and come from your hearts for the blessing will come. Protect me from the ones that will hate me while behind me back a jealousy and envy.
For those of you that are tuned in, this is our musical therapy. This is the sound of Annette Brissett. Track called We All Are Human.
And how they've got the answers to life. What is wrong from right? What I'm saying, we are human. We all are. We the hurt all over. We the hand inside. A reminder, we all are human. We the hurt all over. We the hand inside. Listen now. I have told you once before. inside. And you hear what I'm saying now. We all are human. We are hurt all over. We hurt inside.
As we're reminded that we're all human, I want to appeal to the human side of those out there that may have some information on the hit and run death of young Rashawn Creary. This happened a little over a month ago in Sunrise, Florida. If anybody has any information that can be of any use, even a little hint of information, go ahead and call Crime Stoppers 954-492-TIPS. Sorry, 493-TIPS. The family is still looking for answers, and if any answers that they can get would be greatly appreciated. Well, it would be greatly appreciated, because we are all human, and we could all do with some help. We could all do with some closure. I want to say thanks to GMAT Music Solutions for sponsoring this segment, our musical therapy segment, and we're gonna get out of here in another few minutes, but thanks to GMAT Music Solutions for sponsoring this segment. They provide musicians, singers, stage production services, audio engineers, PA systems. They bring your event to life. Give them a call, 754-307-GMAC. That's 754-307-4622. Or visit them at gmatmusicsolutions.com. Tell them you heard about them from the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Son of Anne-Marie, her rendition of Thank You.
I have so much to share, and so to show you how I care, I thank you. I just want to say thank you for the many things you've done, for having faith in me more than anyone. And when people would have bad things to
Kevin Stew.
This is the sound of Tenor Blue, working out with Peter Morgan. Track called Push Forward.
And the person you trust lets you down. Down a dry desert road, they've been carrying their load in the heat of the sun all day. Destination unknown, driven far from their homes. Tired feet are just aching. And the life they once known now seems so long ago. They long to return to those days. With the future unsure, is there anything more than these long days of heartache and pain? When in the moment your loved one's taken away, gotta push forward, yeah. And the pain runs so deep you can't sleep. When injustice is everywhere you look, you gotta push forward. Gotta push forward. It's time to open up and read that good book. You gotta have faith. Gotta have faith. Everything is everything. We never lose faith. Stand strong in the Gideon, yeah. 'Cause we are warrior, we are no false pretender. From Jackal, we ever ready. Things won't always be how we want them to be. Still we carry on our way. We push on, forever stand strong. And when the pressures of life wanna break you down, and it seems there's no rest to be found, don't give up, no. Find strength to get through the day. 'Cause this life gets so hard and the world ain't fair. But wherever you are, know that Jah will be there. So hold on to your hope, hold on to your faith. 'Cause the last shall be first, you'll find glory one day. Now when the bills run, come but the money doesn't. You gotta push forward. You gotta push forward. Though you work till the sun goes down. You gotta find strength. When the love that you seek can't be found, you gotta push forward. You gotta push forward. And the person you trust lets you down. You gotta have faith. When in the moment your loved one's taken away, you gotta push forward. And the pain runs so deep you can't sleep. You gotta find strength. When injustice is everywhere you look, you gotta push forward. You gotta push forward. It's time to open up and read that good book. You gotta have faith. And when the bills run, come but the money doesn't. You gotta push forward. And then you work till the sun goes down. Let me fix what's been broken. Let me fix what's been stolen from your heart.
From one Morgan to another. Peter Morgan working out with Tenor Blue. This is Jamari Morgan. Track called Take Me Go Home.
If we could forward to the future, forget about yours and my past.
This one from his recently released album Transition.
Set the time machine back to 1930 when there was real love, yeah. When you could feel love, yeah. And we could take what we learned and forward it back to the future. I tell you everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. If we could forward to the future, forget about all the past and tell me go home, yeah. Tell me go home, yeah. If we could forward to the future, forget about yours and my past, tell me go home, yeah. I said tell me go home, yeah. How much time you stress me, why you left me, sitting here wondering if you're gonna come home, yeah. If you're gonna come home, yeah. There's no riverside or mountain that can stop me from launching my love to you. I'll
anything for you. So baby, let's forward to the future. Forget about all the past. Let me go, let me go, let me go. If we could forward to the future, forget about yours and my past. Take me home, I said take me home, take me home. That's what my father said. Ooh, yeah.
For all the Hezites,
What my father said.
this is Hezron. Track called Life is a Poker Game. Hezron had a whale of a time over the weekend.
A game of chance and love. Be careful how you play the game. The cards are never enough.
He was up in Atlanta, Georgia.
It's a poker game of chance and love. Be careful how you play the game. The cards are never enough. Tell me, Father, is there something you done wrong in the past? Why this love of mine so hard? Man, I've been trying for so long, and I can't seem to get much further along. But Daddy said, son, in this life, every man is given a deck of cards. It's the way you play it, you get your reward. Yes. 'Cause sometimes when you think you're winning, that's when you're losing. Sometimes when you're losing, here comes the winning card. Yes. Daddy said life is a poker game of chance and love. Be careful how you play the game. The cards are never enough. Daddy said life is a poker game of chance and love. Be careful how you play the game. The cards are never enough. Daddy said people will try, 'cause of envy and bad mind, to put obstacles in your way most of the time. But don't you worry, it is often a good sign. See, the best player in the game get the most tackle every time. Trust no one. Always keep your poker face on. No one knows the next move, the future plan. Whenever you got a good woman, never you let her go. She's like the royal straight flush. She's the winning hand. That is it. Life is a poker game of chance and love. Be careful how you play the game. The cards are never enough.
So I'm calling out. So you better get ready.
This is where I leave it tonight.
Gonna be.
Yeah, we're dancing all night, but I gotta get out of here.
We're dancing all night. Got to be on.
Inner Circle, Lunch Money Lewis, Alex from TOK, and our very own King Charles. Track called We're Dancing. I'm out of here. Catch you tomorrow. Healthy Love Tuesday. 10 p.m. right here, Eastern Time on kevinstew.com.
Show me love. I know that it gets hard sometimes.
Catch you later.
I let the people them choose it. You know we are. When you're rocking to the beat, just put it on repeat. I know that it gets hard sometimes.
a spliff and drink and cool out. Y'all love, I don't know what you about. Don't leave, you want me to stay. Sorry, babe, but you know I gotta go now. I gotta go and ease my mind. I never wanna waste your time. But the only thing I know for sure, one day that the sun gon' shine. All night, all night, all night, all day. All night, all night, all night, all day. I was spliff and drink and cool out. Y'all love, I don't know what you about. No squares in a circle, no curfew. We dancing all night.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.